Hello, everyone. I'm Joanna De Ninis, and this is Truth Talk for April 11th, 2026. It's about 8:52 p.m., sorry, Arizona. I was just watching a little bit of Labyrinth. I just found out he was at Coachella. I was watching live on YouTube. Um, Labyrinth sings one of my favorite songs, and it's called Beneath Your Beautiful. And something about this song just completely resonates with me, and it brings to light the importance of understanding how meaningful and how valuable we truly are. Beneath Your Beautiful to me is sometimes we don't believe we're beautiful, but we are. And sometimes someone sees our beauty, but somehow things get clouded, right, with past traumas or, things that people haven't dealt with that only they can deal with. And it unfortunately plays out in a relationship. So, Beneath Your Beautiful to me is a reminder that we have to remember that we are beautiful and we are worth it. And that no matter what past traumas have bled into our reality, into our relationships, we have the strength and power to overcome that and to really shine our true colors and to find that inner being that is so beautiful inside that really needs to shine and be shared with others. So, the topic for today, which is kind of appropriate, is why relationships fail. So, as I said before, we come into this world and we come into a family. I believe our soul chooses it, but we come in and we have these challenges to face, and our family members have challenges to face. And we look as children, we're vulnerable. And so we look to those, our parents and our older siblings to protect us, to care for us, right? And when we don't feel safe, it really rocks our internal world. And it causes some of us to really hide our true intention or true feelings and emotions. We tend to bury um, what we don't want to feel, right? We get hurt and we don't know how to handle it. So we bury it and we dismiss our feelings and we start to live on the surface and we just look for the quick fixes, the things that are going to make us or pacify us or make us feel better at the moment because we don't want to address the hurt and the internal pain that we can't deal with. But what happens over time and over the years, from young kid to younger adult to adulthood, is we don't forget those past traumas. They live within us and they manifest and they bleed into our relationships, and oftentimes without us even realizing it. And what I think our ego does is our ego is there to protect us. And so we build this strong protection out of like survival mode. And so we tend to be a little bit more self-centered or self-serving. And we don't always consider how our actions are impacting others. So what I think happens is we carry on in our normal lives and we put on this mask. We're strong, we're competent, we're confident, we're, nothing's going to break us. We can do this and we're going to conquer the world. And it doesn't matter sometimes who's in our way because we got to get to what we want. And we got to show that we're capable of achieving this. And so we get into this mode. We assume a role, and the role oftentimes it's not a true depiction of who we really are. What our it doesn't show the whole picture because we buried those past hurts. And in the process, we lost sight of who we really are and what our true and our connection to our true emotions. And what happens is the people that we love that unintentionally hurt us, we tend to form relationships with people and we end up doing the same to the ones that are closest to us, to our loved ones. We almost take out all of our fears and anger and frustration, the things we didn't deal with. We we push it on to those around us. We project because it's familiar, right? It's what we know, our loved ones, and we don't know how to deal with it, so it's our outlet, and they're the ones closest to us. So we're, we tend to hurt those that are closest to us simply because they're close to us. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it fair, but it's what happens. So obviously, this destroys a relationship. If we had the proper tools, in other words, if we addressed those past traumas and we were emotionally mature and we could effectively communicate in a calm manner and work through all of those traumas and transmute them, right? Recognize them for what they are, feel them, heal and release. We could always improve. We could always be better and overcome, or at least learn to better deal with those traumas so they don't end up in, affecting those around us that love us, so that we don't hurt the ones that are around us and love us. But the big thing is first recognizing and not letting our ego get the best of us or stand in our way. Because our ego cannot address the shame and guilt that happens when we incorrectly deal with things, when we don't deal with them properly. And we know we've hurt someone at some level, but we don't want to face it. So our ego prevents us, that shame, that guilt that we don't we keep harboring when we really need to release it because it's the past. But that's what keeps us stagnant. So our overinflated ego, unfortunately, is our worst enemy. And so what tends to happen is, again, we're in this mode of I got to survive, I got to keep going, I got to do what I got to do, and oftentimes reckless and not realizing how we're hurting those closest to us, the ones that we love. We just fall into this pattern. It's like a hamster on a wheel. We just keep going, chasing surface pleasures, falling into addictions to just get that quick fix that makes us feel good, that doesn't make us hurt so much because we couldn't deal with the real true hurts that affected us in the past. And so we just keep going, trying, doing, not realizing that we're not really getting anywhere. We just keep going, going, going. But here's the thing, we all have the power within to overcome our traumas, to restore our better communication so that we can effectively be present in our relationships and treat our partners with respect and communicate with them calmly and effectively without past hurts intervening and destroying the peace that should exist between two people in a relationship. We're spiritual beings and we are energy. And when our energy is unsettled, those around us feel it. And so if we don't deal with our traumas and our past hurts, unfortunately, they carry over into the ones that we love. And that's not fair. It's not fair to the ones we love because number one, they probably have their own past traumas that they need to heal from. And number two, it's not what we want in a relationship. We want two happy, healthy, balanced energies coming together, appreciating, respecting, accepting, loving each other. We don't want it to be one-sided where someone who's emotionally mature and strong has to bear the burden of the other partner who's emotionally immature and weaker and almost latches on and just steals that energy, does what it needs to do just to get by because it's got to uphold, it's got to maintain that mask, it's got to keep going to uphold the image that the mind tells that person it must uphold. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. We need to tap into our inner selves, our true selves, and address our hurts and traumas, and we need to face them, heal, feel the pain, and release it, transmute it. However it needs to be done. Oftentimes it means going within, getting centered and grounded, meditating, uh, obviously therapy, coaching. Sometimes it takes plant medicines to get ourselves centered and grounded, to release all that anxiety, that pent up anxiety um, and perhaps depression at the same time. So I say this because I truly believe we have the power to learn and grow and heal. People don't like the word change, but it's that we have to change. But I'm just saying, how do you change? You change by learning, by growing, by healing. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. We shouldn't feel guilt or shame for what's done in the past. The past is the past. We have to let it go. We have to move forward. We have to recognize where we are, look to the past for lessons, but don't be trapped in guilt and shame because it doesn't serve us and it's certainly not going to help us going forward. So it's best to just leave all that in the past. Nobody's perfect. We all have our issues, our matters to deal with. But just make that effort to first one recognize that we're worth it. Beneath we're beautiful. And we must know that. And then just work through those traumas, those hangups that have been unfortunately playing out in our day-to-day lives. And like I said, once we get that healed and released, we can show up as whole, confident, independent people who no longer need to wear a mask, who know they're not perfect, and they give themselves grace because no one's perfect. And my favorite saying, we don't compete, we just try to do better than we were the day before. It's not a competition. It's not, I'm going to one up my partner and I'm going to do this and that so I look better, even though, I may not have addressed my past hurts. It's not a competition. It's just knowing who we are, addressing our past traumas and hurts, doing better than we were the day before, and overcoming them and being better today for a better tomorrow. So, anyways, I hope that makes sense. It's um it's hard when you have to dissect everything because, you know, today I mentioned emotional immaturity, and oftentimes it's equated with narcissism, and there are similar traits. But I don't know if it's because I'm an idealist and I have a lot of hope for people, but I truly believe that there are fewer narcissists than we think. In other words, if we just dropped the ego and we addressed our traumas and we learned how to heal and grow from our past experiences to transmute them and like not let our ego intervene, I don't think we have to be narcissistic. I don't think we have to be considered or um, be labeled that. I think that we have the ability to change, to not have that title that's oftentimes is used. I believe we have the power within to be better as long as we do the work and we don't succumb to a certain status or a title that's not a true depiction of who we are. All right, well, I'm gonna it's 9:08 p.m. Arizona time. I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks again for watching. Again, this is not edited. I just off the cuff talking about a topic every day. Someone suggested I post every day to grow my channel, and so this is what I'm doing. So please, if you resonate with this information, please like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, um, goodbye.